Hi guys, and welcome to Gas City Gaming's Ixalan set review. In this video, we'll be taking a look at all the green cards from Ixalan. But keep in mind when you're watching this, we're taking a look at them more in a limited context, so drafts, sealeds, your pre-release event, that kind of thing. So if I think a card is good enough to make it in a standard, I'll mention it, or other constructed environments, but for the most part, this is just going to be a limited set review. So let's get started. Our first card is Ancient Brontodon, the big friendly dinosaur. It's 6 generic mana and 2 green for a common dinosaur, and it's a 9/9. It's 8 mana. Yes, it's a common, but you're only going to be playing one. Really hope you're only playing one. I'm going to throw one in my red-green dinosaur deck, just because I want to play my vanilla 9/9. And also, if you can do anything, like if you can give it trample in absolutely any way, you just win at that point. So I'm throwing in a copy of Ancient Brontodon for sure, but a lot of times this is going to be one of your last picks in the pack because it's an 8, because it costs 8 mana. So I'm playing one, but definitely not more than that. And this is only going in your dinosaur deck because your dinosaur deck is your big Jund or big Naya deck in this format. So this is only going in that kind of deck. And there's going to be lots going around the table. So don't be scared about passing this up in the first or second pack. Ixalan Archer is 2 generic mana and a green for an uncommon human archer. It's a 1/4 with reach. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it fight another target creature. So it being a 1/4 with reach is more important than it fighting when it enters. There are a lot of X1s in the set that this could kill. Don't get me wrong. But you're going to play this more because it's a 1/4 with reach than for the fight mechanic, really. I'm going to include it in my green deck probably main deck, because flyer decks are a thing in limited. Anything with reach, we'll see another card with reach a little later. I'd probably include both of them, to be honest with you. I do like Ixalan Archer because it's a 1/4 with reach, and those are useful in limited. If you've played any limited before, you know blue-white flyers are a thing. Maybe even black-white flyers in this set, if you watch the other set reviews, could be a thing. There's a lot of even flying dinosaurs in white, so definitely play a copy of Ixalan Archer just to hedge your bets against the flyers. Blinding Fog is 2 generic mana and a green for a common instant to prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures this turn. Creatures you control gain hexproof until the end of turn. So this is kind of a green protection spell. If you're kind of flunging into your opponent, and a couple of your things are going to die that you don't want to, maybe they played a pump spell on their creature, you can play this Blinding Fog because it only prevents damage to creatures, doesn't prevent damage that your opponent's going to take. So if you want to protect your board and you're okay taking some damage back, you can see the fog there is kind of going after some of the conquistors, the vampires, the lifelink. So this will prevent your opponent from gaining life, right? Because the damage wouldn't happen for the lifelink to go off. So in a very limited sense, this would work against that, but this is probably going to be a sideboard card for me. Blossom Dryad is 2 generic mana and a green for a common creature as a Dryad. It's a 2/2, it says untap target land. This ramps you. This lets you play, your 5 drops on turn 4. I want to do that personally. There's also there's a land enchantment that lets produce another color, or sorry, an extra mana essentially. So this can really ramp you if you happen to get that. So because of that, I'm playing a copy of Blossom Dryad. The body is going to be okay, relevant. It might attack once in a while, but for the most part, you're going to use this to ramp yourself, and you're going to like ramping yourself. Carnage Tyrant. Ooh, this is a bomb. So when I talk about building a limited deck, we go bombs, removal, value creatures, and pump, and then our 20 to 23rd or 24th cards. This is bomb. This is at the top of your bomb. 4 generic mana and 2 green for a mythic with reason creature. It's a dinosaur. It can't be countered. It has trample. It has hexproof, and it's a 7/6. Have fun if you're playing against this, and have a lot of fun if you're playing with it. It can't be countered, so against your control decks is fine. It has hexproof, so it can't be killed other than a board wipe. Which there's the white one if it's attacking, and there's the red one that deals 20 damage to everything. That's it. Either this is going to trade for 2 or 3 of your opponent's creatures, or it's going to win you the game. And if this trades for 2 or 3 of your opponent's creatures, you're probably going to win in a few turns anyway. So Carnage Tyrant is just good. First pick, no question. Big bomb of the set. It's going to win you games. You're going to have fun with it. And I can see this kind of card getting into standard because it's good against control decks. And control decks, and it's good against almost every card. Play it. Colossal Dreadmaw, 4 generic mana and 2 green for a 6/6 common with trample. So here we see the difference between your mythic, because this can be countered, this can be targeted, this can be killed, and your common. So 6/6 trample for 6. I want to play Charging Monster Sword into this so bad. 5/5 into 6/6, both with trample, one with haste, and just stomp all over your opponent. In your red-green dinosaur decks, you're including this in there, and you're just gonna have fun with it. I don't want to include like 3 of these because I don't want my top end to be too high, but I'm definitely having fun with the Colossal Dreadmaw. I really want to play red-green dinosaurs. There's 2. I want to play the Vampire Bleed You Dry deck, but if I'm playing that deck, unless I have a lot of removal, I don't want to play against the dinosaur deck because it's so big and stompy. Commune with Dinosaurs. This is a spell that I can see getting into Standard. I'd definitely play it in Limited as well. It costs 1 green. It's a common sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a dinosaur or land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So if a dinosaur deck gets into Standard, which maybe not this set, but after the next set, probably will. There'll be enough dinosaurs in Standard because there's enough good ones. This is going to let you either find a land on turn 1, or it doesn't ramp you. It just lets you find a land, put it in your hand, or find you a good creature you're going to play in a couple turns. So because of that, I definitely like Commune with Dinosaurs. I play a copy with it and be very happy of it. I don't play 2 because, you know, you top deck this late when it's in a board stall, and yeah, you get to look at the top 5 and maybe find another creature, but it doesn't get you any further right there. Crash the Ramparts. 2 generic mana and a green. For a common instant, target creature gets +1/+1, gains trample until end of turn. This is the giant growth that we're getting this set. Definitely play it in green. Like I said, what do I want to do with the Ancient Brontodon? I want to give it trample. How do you give it trample? With Crash the Ramparts. 12/12 trample. What is your opponent going to do at that point? They're either going to die or they're going to lose their entire board at that point. So, Crash the Ramparts. Play a copy of it in your dinosaur deck. Yep. Crushing Canopy. 2 generic mana and a green for a common instant that says choose 1. Destroy target creature with flying. Destroy target enchantment. When I make my sealed decks, let's say I'm playing red-green, for example. I'll put all the rest of my cards kind of in the back of my deck box, and I'll put the obvious sideboard cards right at the front. This is one of those obvious sideboard cards. I'm playing green, so you're often going to have trouble with flyers. You might want to... There might be a troublesome enchantment, especially if you're playing against white. You might have Ixalan's Binding, stuff like that you're playing against. Those O-Ring or Pacifism type effects. So this is going to be something I'm bringing from the sideboard more often than not, but I don't want to have it main deck. Because what if I'm playing against the other dinosaur deck? This isn't going to hit a lot of stuff. So definitely a good, solid sideboard card that you're going to play, that you're going to bring in. Death Gorge Scavengers. 2 generic mana and a green for a rare dinosaur. It's a 3/2. When Death Gorger Scavenger enters the battlefield or attacks, you may exile target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, you gain 2 life. If a non-creature card is exiled this way, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's good, aggressive dinosaur. So it doesn't attack turn, come in, doesn't have haste. But turn 4, this can either attack as a 4/3 or gain a couple life when it attacks. So I like it. Definitely still going to play it, but this doesn't so much go in the bomb slot for me. This more goes in the value creature slot for me. So, but I'm definitely, it's going to be one of those first value creatures for me. This isn't a maybe include. This is definitely, I'm going to include it if I'm playing green, probably at all. But it's something I want to play with, just not my big bomb going to win me the game kind of thing. Deeproot Champion is generic mana and a green for a rare Merfolk Shaman. It's a 1/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Deeproot Champion. So this is your blue-green Merfolk card. Is one of the first ones we've seen in green. If you're playing a lot of, like, a couple of copies of Opt, some Bounce, some draw spells, things like that, play your Deeproot Champion for sure. Thing is, in limited, at most, at most, you want to be playing 8, maybe 10. Please don't play 10, but you might play 10 non-creature spells. So because that Deeproot Champion might get up to a 4/4/5/5. Which for 2, hey, which for 2 mana because you're playing Magic, that's great. But if you construct your deck and your Deeproot Champion is there and you only have 5 non-creature spells, don't expect the world of it then. So in the kind of deck this could be bomb. This is more than likely for me is going to my value creature deck because it's probably going to be a 3/3/4/4 most of the time. For 2 mana, just because I'm playing Magic, that's pretty good. Deeproot Warriors, generic mana and a green for a common Merfolk Warrior. It's a 2/2. Whenever Deeproot Warrior becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. We don't see this a lot with Merfolk. This is a good aggressive Merfolk because it's attacking turn 3 as potentially as a 3/3. So your opponent plays a 2/3 on their turn. They can't block this because it'll die. So they just, okay, I'll take 2, I guess. I'll take 2, I'll take 2. Oh, there I played a 4/4. But for 2 mana, I'm happy playing a copy or 2 of Deeproot Warrior. Drover of the Mighty is a generic mana and a green for a uncommon human druid. It's a 1/1. It gets +2/+2 as long as you control a dinosaur. Has tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I really like this card. It's a really good uncommon. It's a really good value slot uncommon because if I control a dinosaur, it's going to attack as a 3/3. If I need to play a dinosaur, it's going to help me play my dinosaur. So it's going to let me get my dinosaurs out earlier, and if I already have dinosaurs out when I play this, it's going to be a 3/3 for 2, which, okay, that's fine. So I'm playing a copy or two of Drover the Mighty as well. This is our 2-drop in our dinosaur deck. This is our 2-drop in our merfolk deck, right? Emergent Growth. 3 generic mana and a green for an uncommon sorcery. Target creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn and must be blocked this turn if able. So this is, okay, you want something to trade with your opponent's biggest creature or something. It doesn't say must be blocked. It's not lure. It's not all creatures that can block this have to. It's not that good, but it's definitely going to kill something of your opponents. Just hopefully it's not like their little 1/1 piddly dude. So because it doesn't say it's not pure lure, I'm not super high on it because it just says it has to be blocked. It doesn't say by what. So okay, here's my 1/1 lifelink guy there, blocked, fine, heavy. It doesn't even give trample. If this gave trample, I'd be super high on it, and that would probably be more expensive mana-wise too, but I'd be happier with it if it did that. As it is, I'm not super high on Emergent Growth. I would put this in a removal slot, but you don't want to give your opponent the choices when you're playing Magic. Your opponent gets to choose what gets to die to this, and I'd rather not let them choose, personally. Emperor's Vanguard, 3 generic mana and a green for a rare human scout. It's a 4/3. When it deals combat damage to a player, it explores. So good, aggressively costed 4 mana for a 4/3, and could explore multiple times. So in your explore deck, okay, this is our first instance of explore in green. Explore says, reveal a top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it is a land. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, then put the card back or put it into your graveyard. Back as in back on top of your library. So you kind of get a reveal scry with a counter, or you get to put the land in your hand. So because of that, I like Emperor's Vanguard. It's good, solid, aggressive 4-drop that could potentially either get bigger or help you get to your bigger things. I'm playing it. It's not a bomb for me. Hopefully it synergizes with a lot of your other cards that care about exploring, that care about counters, things like that. There's a card that says things with counters are unblockable, so if you have that, you're loving the explore cards. But Emperor's Vanguard is a good value creature for me. Grazing Whiptails, 2 generic mana and 2 green for a common 3/4 dinosaur with reach. I'm playing this in my green decks because green decks are usually weak to flying. Like we said earlier about our archer, I'm playing this in essentially the same kind of role. 4 mana for a reach creature that's going to block a lot of flyers. It's going to help me out where my green creatures are usually traditionally weak. I don't want to have to dedicate a removal slot just to killing flyers. So I want a decent body. 3/4 for 4 is fine, and reach on top of that to help block some of those 2/2s, 2/3 flyers, 3/3 flyers that there are in white and in blue, a lot of other colors. Grazing Whiptail is going to do a lot of work and hold back a lot of damage from happening to us. Ixalan's Diviner is generic mana and a green for a common human druid. It's a 0/3. When it enters the battlefield, it explores. So it might be a 1/4 for 2. It's fine. It might be a 0/3 that finds you land. That's okay. I'd play one in my 2-drop spot. If you're in your green, I'm not playing this in my dinosaur deck. I'm playing this in the blue-green explorer / merfolk deck because it helps me ramp. It's a control-y card, so that's more the role I'm playing this in rather than in the dinosaur deck. Ixalan's Keepers, generic mana and a green for a human shaman. It's a 2/2. This is our green card where you get to sack and for 8 mana and do something big. It says for 7 generic and a green mana, you can tap it, sacrifice Ixalan's Keeper. Target creature gets +5/+5 against trample until end of turn. So this is, again, what green wants to do. Make something big and make it stompy. So this will help, say, if you have your Ancient Brontodon. Turn 2, it's a 2/2. That's fine. But late games can be a big impactful card as well. I'd play this. Like I said, there's other ones I don't like as much. I'm not playing this one so much for the body. It's fine. It's Bear with upside. I've played those before. I'll play them again, like I've said. But the 5/5 trample can be big. The onboard trick, late game, you got a board stall. Okay, here I'm going to attack with my 6/6 trample dude from earlier. Okay, sack is an 11/11. What you going to do? You're either going to die or they're going to lose most of their board. And because of that, I like Ixalan's Keeper. If your opponent leaves us on the board, it's going to become a problem for them. They're going to have to start attacking into you in hopes that you're going to block with it, or they're going to have to waste one of their removal spells on it, which is great for you. Jade Guardian is 3 generic mana and a green for a 2/2 common merfolk shaman. It has hexproof. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target merfolk you control. So That's either going to be this or something else. Usually it's probably going to be this, because I want a 3/3 hexproof. Unless you have that unblockable dude that I'd probably put on the unblockable dude. Or you have that enchantment that makes things unblockable. Hexproof unblockable, there's a reason they don't make that anymore. Jade Guardian, though, on its own, definitely play in the Merfolk deck. I'd probably might even play it in just a generic green deck. Not if I get a lot of good dinosaurs, but definitely play it in the Merfolk deck for sure. Absolutely auto-include, because it makes one of your other Merfolk bigger, and it's hexproof. Hexproof and limited can be a pain for sure. If you can pop the, I forget the name of it, but the essential reprint of Spectral Flight, 2 mana to give something +2/+2 flying, a 4/4 hexproof flyer, okay, that's good. So Jade Guardian, I'd play a copy. Not super duper excited about the Merfolk deck, play it. Otherwise, in the Merfolk deck, this is in my value slot. Otherwise, this is in my 20 to 23rd slot. You know, that Merfolk deck where it has that good synergy, this is a value. Otherwise, it's in the, okay, maybe if I have to. Jungle Delver. For 1 green mana, you get a common Merfolk Warrior. It's a 1/1, and for 3 in a green, you can put a +1/+1 counter on Jungle Delver. This is the kind of mana sink I like. If I have no play on turn 4, it becomes a 2/2. A couple turns later, I can drop this late in the game. You know, turn 6, 7, okay, play it. No, drew another land, okay, make him into a 3/3. A couple more turns, make him into a 5/5. Just keep on making him bigger. I like this kind of mana sink. There was something like this in Aether Revolt as well. Each color had their own artifact that you could pay and do things, and greens did this, and I liked it, and it was good, and it usually drew my opponent's removal on my 1-drop. If I can do that, hey. So I'm including this either in Merfolk decks or Dinosaur decks, really. Any green deck, I'm throwing my Jungle Delver into my 1-drop slot pretty readily. For 1 green mana, you can also get a Kumena's Speaker. There's an uncommon Merfolk Shaman. It's a 1/1. Gets +1/+1 as long as you control another Merfolk or an island. So, turn 2, hopefully this is a 2/2 for you, but that's as big as it's ever going to get. Now, don't get me wrong, 2/2 is, for 1 mana, is great, but I'd personally rather have something that be good late and early. This is just good early, and if your opponent plays that 0/3 wall, this isn't going anywhere. So I personally would rather play a Jungle Delver rather than a Speaker. Merfolk Branchwalkers, a generic mana and a green for an uncommon Merfolk Scout, and it's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, it explores. Body ain't great on its own. In your Explore deck, you're going to play this. Dinosaur deck, absolutely not. We've been over other 2-drops already that are much better than this for the Dinosaur deck, but Merfolk, or if I have a lot of things that care about Explorers, that care about counters, it could be a 3/2 for 2, which is great. Might not be. So in the Merfolk deck, I would be more than happy about playing this and that. Dinosaur deck, not so much. New Horizons, 2 generic mana and a green for a common enchantment aura, enchant land. When New Horizon enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Enchant land has tap, add 2 mana of any 1 color to your mana pool. So this is one that gets along really well with that mana untapper, or the land untapper from earlier. And also pumps one of your creatures. So I like it because it does something. You can play this on turn 3 and it'll do something when it comes in. So for example, in the Merfolk deck, if I can play this, reveal a non-land, and then I get to put a counter on it, then it's going to be real good. But, so I'm going to play a copy New Horizons in almost any green deck I'm playing because of that. Because it helps me ramp, and it makes my creature bigger when it comes down. So New Horizons, I like them. I'm probably going to take it, late in pack 1 or mid pack 1, within that first cycle of 6 or 8, however many you're drafting with. I'm going to take New Horizons usually in the first bit of that because it helps me get to other things. Helps me fix, because it's not just add 2 mana of any color that land could produce. It's add 2 mana of any 1 color. So it helps me fix, helps me ramp, and pumps a creature. There's 3 really good things for 3 mana. Old Growth Dryads is a green mana for a rare creature Dryad. It's a 3/3. When Old Growth Dryads enters the battlefield, each opponent may search his or her library for a basic land card, put it on a battlefield tapped, then shuffle his or her library. Now, this could be good, but I do not want to ramp my opponents in this format. Especially if I'm on the draw, getting my opponent another land drop ahead of me is not something I want to be doing, even if I do have a 3/3. Because a 3/3, depending on what kind of deck you're playing against, can be quickly outclassed. Your opponent plays the plains. Okay, you play your Dryad. Oh, they go get a mountain. Oh, they play another mountain, and they kill your Dryads. And all you did was ramp them. Right? I don't want to do that. I don't like this personally. I don't want to ramp my opponents. Even if I do get a 3/3. This isn't going to get any more than a 3/3. It doesn't pump itself. It doesn't do anything extra other than ramp my opponents when it enters. And like back in the day, you had things with Undying. Okay, they come back and they get bigger. If it's had something like that, maybe. But even then, it enters and it ramps. So I don't like old growth dryads. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. I don't like it. Pounce is a green card I love. However, as generic mana and a green for a common instant, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. This is the removal you get in green. Red you get burn, black you get just kill that, white you get pacify or O-ring effects, blue you get bounce, green you get fight. I really like fight, especially in the dinosaur decks because you have all your enraged triggers. Right? We went over some of that in the red review. We'll go over some of it in here as well. But Pounce sets off your enraged triggers and kills your opponent's creatures now. So fight got better in this set. So Pounce, I'd take a couple of these and be more than happy playing multiples of this. Probably not 3, depending what other color I'm sharing with. You know, if I'm Jund or just red-green, I'm taking a couple of these and being very happy about playing probably 2 copies of Pounce. Ranging Raptors is 2 generic mana and a green for an uncommon dinosaur. It's a 2/3. Enrage. Whenever it is dealt damage, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it on a battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So this is like we just had the example. I want to enrage. I want to fight this with my opponent's 2/2 so I can ramp, right? Ramp into my 6/6 trample on the next turn. I like Ranging Raptors because that 2/3 for 3 is fine, but if you can get this enrage trigger off once or twice with a dual shot or with a fight mechanic, you're going to have a good time with Ranging Raptors for sure. I'd take one and I'd put it in my dinosaur deck very happily. Ravenous Daggertooth is something else I'd put in my dinosaur deck very happily, because for 2 generic mana and a green, you get a common dinosaur. It's a 3/2, and it's an enrage trigger said whenever it's dealt damage, you gain 2 life. Hey, again, you gotta be careful with this one though, because it's a 3/2 rather than a 2/3, so you can only profitably fight against, 1 X's, for example. But hey, it's going to gain you a couple life when it does block. It's hopefully going to be able to get in an attack once or twice, and it's probably going to gain you at least 2 life in the meantime. So, you know my theory about life gain. My line is kind of at 6-ish life buys you a turn. So this is going to need to take damage 3 times in order to buy you a turn, but I'm playing this because it's both an aggressive creature and that enrage mechanic is not bad. So, Ripjaw Raptors, 2 generic mana and 2 green for a rare dinosaur. It's a 4/5. It has enrage. When it's dealt damage, draw a card. Drawing a card in green is great. 4/5 for 4 is great. I'm playing this. It's not necessarily in my bomb, but this is one of my first value creatures I'm playing. Really happy to open a Ripjaw Raptor. Can't splash it really too well because of the double green, but if you have enough good dinosaurs, you're probably going to be playing green anyway. River Herald's Boon. Generic mana and a green for a common instant. Put a +1/+1 counter target creature and a +1/+1 counter up to 1 target merfolk. So I wouldn't play this in a dinosaur deck unless I'm really hurting for pump spells. Like if this does get into the dinosaur deck, it's because it's one of those last 2 or 3 cards I was talking about. But this is made to go in the merfolk deck, obviously. So in your merfolk deck, yes, because there are, like we've talked about, there are cards that care about +1/+1 counters in the merfolk deck. So you want to play this in that. Outside of that, not really. Savage Stomp, 2 generic mana and a green for an uncommon sorcery. It costs 2 less to cast if it targets a dinosaur you control. So if you have the dinosaur deck, you're just going to play this because it costs 1 green mana. 1 green mana. It says put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then that creature fights target creature you don't control. So this can turn our 3/2 into a 4/3, and then it'll fight something, and you gain 2 life, and then you probably get attacked with it, and it'll kill something else, and you spend 1 green mana to do all of that. Savage Stomp, yep, it's probably an uncommon, so you might only open 1. If you open 2, I'm taking 2. It's real good. It's better than the other fight mechanic, obviously, because it can potentially cost 1 green mana. It's probably going to be targeting a dinosaur, so it's probably just going to cost you 1 green mana. And it gives you a counter and makes your dinosaur bigger too. So hey, that's never bad. Shaper's Sanctuary is a green mana for a rare enchantment. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. So this might not happen a ton. I'm personally not going to play Shaper's Sanctuary. Doesn't do anything for me on turn 1. Might draw me 2 or 3 cards over the course of the game. Which, that's not nothing, but it's not good enough for me. Other decks, maybe, but just not... Again, I'm not seeing it. I'm not the be-all, end-all. I'm not never claimed to be, but I'm not seeing it. Slice in Twain. It's 2 generic mana and 2 green for an uncommon instant that says destroy target artifact or enchantment, draw a card. If your opponent in game 1 plays that really bomb enchantment or really bomb artifact, big equipment, vehicle, whatever, you're going to board in Slice in Twain because this should be in your sideboard to begin with. There's not enough good big artifacts. Like if this was printed in Aether Revolt, this is main deck for me. It's not. It's printed in Ixalan, so it's in the sideboard. Snapping Sailback. 4 generic mana and a green for an uncommon creature dinosaur. It's a 4/4 with flash. Has Enrage. Whenever it's dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So here's how you play this card. Your opponent attacks with a 3/3. It's tapped out. You flash this in, block it. You have a 5/5 to attack them back with it. Right? That seems good. I'm playing Snapping Sailback. This is getting right into my value creatures. Love this at 5-drop. The flash is awesome. It's going to, just like in the art, it's going to pounce out of that water, eat something of your opponents, get bigger, and hit them back for more. So I really like Snapping Sailback. Spike-tailed Ceratops, something else I really like. It's 4 generic mana and a green for a common dinosaur. It's a 4/4, so 5 for a 4/4 already. It can block an additional creature each combat. Because of this, you'll see a lot of little creatures. So this is a good, your dinosaur deck. You played a couple little dinosaurs, stuff has died. Turn 5 it hits, you play the Spike-tailed Ceratops, and boom, the board is stabilized. Your opponent has a couple 2/3s, a couple maybe a 1/1s, maybe they're playing the vampire deck, have a few tokens out. Spike-tailed Ceratops says, okay, bring it. I like it because it stabilizes you pretty much right when it hits the board. So it's just a solid card that I like. I'm going to probably drop it in my 5-drop slot. One of these and one of the Snapping Sailback, and I'm going to be a happy camper. Thundering Spineback is 5 generic mana and 2 green for a 5/5 uncommon. It's a dinosaur. Other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1. You may pay 5 generic mana and green to create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. This for me, yes, it's an uncommon. This is going in my bomb slot. It's big, it's 7 mana, so I'm just playing one of them, but the fact that I can just make dinosaurs on board. Into your opponent's turn, make a dinosaur, play another creature, or just draw land. Same top decking mode, draw land, okay, your turn. Okay, you're attacking me, okay, make a dinosaur block. Okay, keep going. And eventually, and the thing is, while the Thundering Spineback is out, they're going to be 4/4 dinosaurs with trample, because it gives other dinosaurs you control +1/+1. So making a 4/4 every turn repeatable like this is a bomb to me. So the Thundering Spineback is something that's going in that top-rated bomb slot for me. Love it. This is a first pick for me, unless I open some kind of awesome bomb, amazing rare that's even better than this. This is first pick, first pack for me. I want to try and go in dinosaurs if I can. Tishana's Wayfinders, 2 generic mana and a green for a common Merfolk Scout. It's a 2/2. When it enters battlefield, explores. Just like we've seen a number of these cards for Merfolk already. Slightly overcosted 2/2 that might be a 3/3. But in the kind of deck that cares about counters, that cares about exploring, this is going to be something you want to do. So in your Merfolk deck, that blue-green deck, definitely for sure, but I'm only playing it in that kind of deck personally. Verdant Rebirth is a generic mana and a green for an uncommon instant. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to its owner's hand, draw a card. So this is something I more want to play in my Explore deck. You could play this in a Dinosaur deck if you want to get, your kind of 3 or 4 drop Dinosaur back, or, to protect your creature and draw a card. I want to experiment with this card. I'm not super confident about it. I'd rather play a fight card than this, personally, because I want to kill my creatures, my opponent's creatures, and get in for damage. This, to me, is flavored, just like in the art, how there's Merfolk in it, and Dryads and stuff. It's more flavored to go in the Merfolk deck, because that blue-green dirtle and bounce and all that kind of stuff. But it can save a dinosaur very easily just as well. So I might include one, but to me, this is going to go in my 20 to 23rd cards, because I'm hoping to open more value than this. Verdant Sun's Avatar is 5 generic mana and 2 green for a rare dinosaur avatar, and it's a 5/5. When it or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So for example, if I get this and our bomb uncommon, I'm playing them both, even though they're both 7-drops. You gotta be real, but hopefully I'm getting some ramp, our mana fixing enchantment that we had, to help make that a little cheaper, because imagine this and then cranking out a 3/3 dinosaur every turn, pay 6 mana to make a 4/4 and gain 3. Yep, I'm down with that. So Verdant Sun's Avatar is one of your bomb rares in the dinosaur deck as well. So again, first pick, first pack, not a problem with that. And this is kind of just, yes, I'm playing dinosaurs now. Got that? Okay, Does it say dinosaur in the creature type? Okay. Does it say dinosaur? Yep. Does it say dinosaur? Yep. The thing is, you notice with this, though, it doesn't necessarily have to be a dinosaur in order for you to gain life, so it can go in other decks, but I mean, come on. This is going into your dinosaur deck. Vine Shaper Mystic is 2 generic mana and a green for an uncommon Merfolk Shaman. It's a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target Merfolk you control. So it can be a 2/4 for 3, which is fine in your blue-green deck. That's the kind of creature you want. And then can make something else. Your unblockable dude, a flyer can give a counter too. So I'm playing a Vine Shaper Mystic in my blue-green decks personally. Walker of the Wilds is 2 generic mana and 2 green for a rare Merfolk Shaman at 3/3. You may pay X and 2 green to put X +1/+1 counters on target land you control. That land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with haste. It's still a land. So what you can do is you can play this, put a bunch of counters on a land, the next turn put more counters on that land, the next turn put more counters on that land. Yes, your opponent might kill that land, but oh well, you can just do that the next turn and put it on a different land. Keep building up your land and your land and your land. This is something I'm not even necessarily including in just a Merfolk deck. I'm including this in pretty much any X-green deck that I'm playing because I want to do a late game. This is an awesome, awesome mana sink late game. You know, board's gummed up, you're at 8, 9, 10 land. You know, I'm going to turn one of my land into a 7/7. Now what? I'm going to turn it into a 15/15. On the next turn, I'm going to turn into a 20/20 and just dunk, 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 and you're going to win. So because of that, Wake of the Wild is something I've included in pretty much any green deck I'm playing. First pick, first pack, barring, like, I would pick this because it goes into any green deck. Doesn't necessarily have to just go in your Merfolk deck. So I would be very happy playing a Waker of the Wilds. Wild Growth Walker is generic and green for an uncommon 1/3 elemental. Whenever a creature you control explores, put a +1 counter on it, and you gain 3 life. So this is the kind of thing, if you can get a couple of these in your Explore deck, you're laughing. Because you get 2/4, 3/5, and you're gaining 3, 6 life. You explore a couple of times. Like I've said, 6 life is what I kind of count as buying you a turn. So you explore 3, 4, 5 times, you've gained 9, 12, 15 life, and maybe you got another one as well, and you're bouncing things, you're exploring repeatedly. Other stuff is getting counters because you're going to reveal non-lands. This is a payoff card for the Explore deck. In a draft, if you're kind of going towards that Explore, definitely check out your Wild Growth Walkers. If you're opening enough Explore cards in your Seal deck, that's a thing. You can definitely throw one or two of these in as well. Even if you only have like 5, 6 Explore cards, I'd still include this because a 1/3 for 2 that might become a 2/4 and gain you some life is fine. Growing Rites of Ixalan is 2 generic mana and a green. It's our legendary flip enchantment for this set. For a rare legendary enchantment, it says when Growing Rites of Ixalan enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand, but they rest on the bottom of your library in any order. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Growing Rites of Ixalan. Limited, it's super easy to control 4 more creatures in any kind of limited. Trust me, especially if you're playing green. So this is going to flip pretty easily, again, just because you're playing Magic. Just like the blue one, this is going to flip just because you're playing Magic. That's one of the reasons it's so good. And it flips into Ixalan, Cradle of the Sun. Oh boy. So it flips at the beginning of your end step. So it flips into a land that says, add green. Oh yeah, like most land do. But the big thing is it says, add a green to your mana pool for each creature you control. This is good. If you get one, play it, keep it, don't trade it away. Don't care what your buddies say, just keep it. Just keep it. You're gonna yep. It's gonna be good. Limited, play it in your limited deck if you're playing green at all, because why not? You gotta look at stuff, pick a card out of it, and if you have creatures, you're gonna make a bunch of green mana. This will ramp you into your big things we were talking about with your Waker of the Wild. This is gonna make a land gigantic. Don't make this land gigantic. Make a basic forest gigantic. But this is just gonna win games for you because it ramps you in other stuff. This is why you want mana sinks in green, like our pay for get a counter, like Waker of the Wilds. This is the kind of reason you want that in your green deck. But Ixalan, Cradle of the Sun, hopefully you open one and you say, hey, your buddies, oh, look at this, oh, look what I opened, and you're just going to have fun with it. So that is our last green card of Ixalan. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree? Do you disagree with my opinions? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. What did you pull at your pre-release? What do you hope to pull if you're a pre-release? If you're watching this before, let me know. what did you open and what performed for you? Were you hoping something would be really good and it really wasn't? Love to hear from you down there. While you're leaving a comment, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Everything that helps out Gas City Gaming here, that spreads the word of what we're trying to do. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Have fun at your pre-release. I know I'm only gonna get to go to one this time, so not a ton, but I'll let you guys know how I do at it as well. So have an awesome day, guys, and I will see you again.